Hello in TV land, it's your boy Freelancer Joe, ready to once again get cracking. How are you all doing on this fine and let me check, wonderful and glorious Wednesday afternoon? Just checking to see if I was muted, on mute, muted or on mute. How can it be? Would you? Whether or not I'm not on mute, whether or not the microphone was on mute, and whether or not I was muted because the microphone was on mute. Ah, the glory of the English language. So, while I engage you with my idle banter and chit-chat, I'm going to go ahead and set things up. So, I don't think you answered me. How y'all doing? Are you doing good? Doing fine? Bueno? As those south of the border say. How would the Japanese say? Yeah, no, that's no. I forgot how the Yoshi. I forgot how the Japanese would say fine. Those are the only two languages I studied actually. 4 years of Spanish in high school, never learned to speak it, and 2 semesters of Japanese. But to be honest, I remember more from watching anime than I do the classes I took. Although I took the classes because of anime, so go figure. Yeah, Wednesday, as they say, the hump day. For me, it was, well, let's see, my third to last day on my current project. So, yep. Tomorrow's Thursday, which is 2 days, and Friday, which is the last day on the current project. Oh boy. I don't know if I should be trepidatious, I suppose, as any, not leery, trepidatious, cautious. I guess a person should be cautious about any particular change to their schedule and lifestyle. I mean, I would not do it unless there was plenty of potential benefit, but the flip side of potential benefit is potential drawbacks. Although if you are one of the fortunate few who are able to find circumstances where there are never any drawbacks for you, well, good for you. That's real good for you. And I don't say that out of spite or jealousy, although I might have been a little jealous. But then I just looked at myself right here and I realized I don't have anything to be jealous about. Alright. What were we doing? We were doing playing around more with the calendar in my demo. And let's bring it up. And while that's doing that, yeah, so let's see, what was, obviously, since this is my last week of work, you'd think it'd be a lot of hassle getting stuff done, but I pretty much already finished all of the work I needed to do, and now it's mostly just administrative. Though I did have my annual performance review slash lunch with my boss today, the boss on the current project, so I mean, it's not really going to be that much applicability except for any general comments on the new project. But it was well, we could say it's the annual lunch slash review slash send-off lunch. Although they did ask if I wanted a send-off party. And as far as I'm concerned, the party should only occur when I arrive on projects. You need wakes when I leave projects, not parties. Although I imagine there probably have been parties on some projects that I've left. Ah, fools. Fools, I say. Alright. Here we go. Alright. So, if I'm being completely forthright and honest, I did do some work off camera, albeit not on this particular laptop. I did it on my other laptop. This beautiful beast right here. Yes, this one, I don't move her around too much. When I'm on the go, I use my old laptop. So yeah, so I did work off camera, and I think I figured out most of my issues. So we're gonna go through them and the various solutions. Now, the first issue. All right, let's bring up the console so we can see what's going on. All right, so when we go to the calendar, all right, it actually, if we see here, it makes the AWS Access start. It actually makes the call to get the events, which is good. And then it gets the response, which is good for the events from Lambda. And then it places it within the application state, which is also good. And we just check in their application state. We got AWS, results, under calendar is the two events that we have for the month of November. My manual one I entered and the one commemorating my mom's birthday. Alright, so having said that, as you can see in our calendar, we actually don't see any of those events. So that's actually a twofold problem, but we will go for the superficial one first, and that is we need to debounce. Well, not necessarily debounce, we don't need to, I suppose, but it makes things easier. So I did the work on the other laptop, and then I pretty much undid it, but I left notes, and I checked in my notes. And oh gee, I hope that didn't change anything. That might cause problems. The package JSON got updated. Alright. So what I am speculating is occurring is that while the application state does get updated, the results are not, okay. So we have the React lifecycle for the view. It says component will mount or did mount. Is it did mount or will mount? Okay, yes. Component will mount. This occurs after the initial render. Right, so the render is called, then this lifecycle method is called component will mount. This does the access AWS. Probably not the debounce, to be honest. But we'll go with the debounce anyway. Nah, well, we'll go with the debounce anyway. It might solve that first one. If not, that's fine. So my initial theory was simply that, no, that's clearly wrong then. Well, my initial theory was that the results were coming back just as the view was being rendered, or just before, but not in time for the results to be put inside the DOM. And so that's why I wasn't displaying them. I don't believe that to be the case now that I say it, but we'll go ahead with the debounce anyway because it's a good thing to have. And the debounce basically delays the call. There are various reasons for doing that, but mostly revolves around syncing issues. So first thing we have to do is we have to install the package for debouncing, which is under Lodash. Lodash is apparently the Uber utility library for any JavaScript developer. There's a whole bunch of things in there. Right now I just use unique ID, and now I'm going to be using debounce. I'm almost certain I referenced it somewhere else. And I bet you a whole bunch of these other libraries I use go ahead and import it too. So let me see, that's installing it, which is good. Didn't do us any good because uh-oh, did it freeze? No. Oh yeah, so today was pretty quiet at work other than my review. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit busy. Before I start my new project, I have to do some paperwork and meet some people. and make some calls, which is all very painful because I can't do it from my location. I have to go to other places to do it. Very, very painful. And then Friday, I have to again go meet some people and do some more paperwork. Tomorrow's paperwork is for rolling off of my current project, and the Friday paperwork is for rolling on to the new project. And then this weekend, I'll be going to my super secret location, and I might have to. I'm still working out what my schedule should look like. There's a distinct chance that I might have to stay late at the new job at first until my schedule gets settled. So that kind of makes a problem for my content. Alright, so I might actually have to record the week's worth of content on Sunday. So, I mean, Sunday I'll be tired from all the changes to my schedule, and then the visit to the super secret location, and then I have to record all the content. And really what I would kind of hope is that I could spend the entire weekend resting, but that's just not in the cards. Okay, so we have imported that library. That's fine. Now we have to actually use it. So, we have to import debounce from. Could have sworn I hit the spacebar. Lodash debounce. That is good. And then, so how it works is basically, so we call a function that is actually that's basically wrapped around the debounce, and then the function is delayed by the debounce. The actual execution of the function call is delayed by the debounce. So let's say this dot debounce AWS is going to equal debounce deounce. I've been trying to deounce, but my body's been very, very, very this dot debounce AWS, and let's delay it by 1 second. And so what is this dot debounce AWS going to be? It's actually just going to be this call, but let's make it somewhat generic. Say debounce. Well, I mean, that is technically debounce, but not the debounce that I wanted. Debounce AWS. We're going to pass it a key. We're going to pass it data. And we're going to go ahead and add the debugs for it. Just so we can see what's going on in there. Key. Ketty. I used to drink, what was that vodka? Kettle One, which is supposedly very good for those on low-carb diets, such as myself. As good as any alcohol could be. So when that call is debounced, then it's actually going to do this. And we will pass the key. And we'll pass the data. And the two places where we already call access AWS, we're going to change that to the debounce call. So we don't need this should debounce anymore. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. Thank you. All right. Let's start it up and see if that solves the initial problem. So now that I'm looking at it, I don't think it will. But I could have sworn when I was working off camera that it did, at least one of the problems. was I talking about? Oh yeah, Kettle One. Why did I stop drinking it? Maybe because I switched to Russian Standard and Tito's, just because it was cheaper. That seems like a really bad reason to switch alcohol. Not that there's any really good reason to drink alcohol, other than you enjoy the taste. Maybe I just couldn't tell the difference. I'm almost beginning to think that I'm a bit of a lush. Well, I would, except for the fact that even on the only time I drink now is drinks with Joe, and even then, that's basically the equivalent of like 1 or 2 shots, which is, when you've got all this muscle mass to absorb it, that's nothing. So I'm hoping that's the right syntax. I have the right syntax as my notes, but I'm trying to see if I can do it all from the noggin. Alright, so again, we'll bring up the web developer, web console. So what I'm hoping for is that the calendar will come up, and then we'll see after about a second the message that is actually making the call, and then hopefully the events will appear within the calendar. That is the hope. Unfortunately, however, we got an error instead. Object blah 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 is not a function. Calendar view. So it must be how I reference that. Okay. This.dbounce AWS, which is that, equals dbounce dbounce access AWS. Oh. What's the point of binding it if you don't actually remember to bind it? Huh? Oh, didn't want to do that. Alright, so what was I talking about now? Yeah, I'm probably going to spend the next couple days just complaining about how packed my weekend's going to be. I mean, it's not really packed, but no, it's still out. Huh. Is it still you? Was it the old code? No, not you. Oh, what are you complaining about now? Localhost port 8080, alpha. Alright, that came up. Calendar. No, same error. Object is not a function. Object is not a function. Key data. This.dbounce AWS. Right. Was that right? Let's check that. Was it how I imported the dbounce? Import dbounce. That's fine. How did I bind it? This.dbounce equals dbounce, this.dbounce, the definition of the function, dbounce that, and how I call it, this.dbounce. Okay, that looks like that should work. So just the import? was that a warning? I saw a warning. Well, plenty of warnings, actually. My calendar. Alright, there we go. There's the manual event. That's good. And there's my Mama Bear's birthday. Alright, so that did actually solve it. Still kind of weird, though. But now, if I click on next, we had the delayed call. That's fine. We have the updated calendar object. Alright, with another manual event for the, what day? Should be on the 5th, but if we look here on the 5th, we don't have it, and we still have that old event for Mama Bear's birthday. So, what's going on? Alright, well, long story short. The interesting thing to note here is that the reducer, wow, what a handsome, good-looking man. There you go. But a teeny tiny, handsome, good-looking man. Well, the interesting thing to note is the application state gets updated, right? We see that there, but the view does not re-render. And the view should re-render because we pull from the application state and store it into the properties. And the properties for calendar view change so that, and that property is used here, right? So calendar props and calendar.events. So React should know that it changed, but it's not changing. Now, long story short, it's actually because it's not doing a deep copy. It's just doing a shallow copy. If we look at our reducer, internal reducer, is this it? Right, yeah, here we go. So, the AWS state basically is, what is the initial thing? It's a deeply, or it's a deep object. We got the top level fields, right? Results, which contains another object, calendar, which contains another object, and events, which contain the events. And we update the events. But since it's not a deep copy, it's only copying these top level fields. It's not digging into results to see that something changed there. So, I believe I just did an object assign. Yeah, I did. So, now we'll just do an object.assign, which, I'm kind of iffy about that doing a deep copy too. I seem to recall having to use Lodash also has a deep copy library also. But yeah, alright, let's see if that works. And the reason I didn't see that occur on my other things that use application state is because they're not deep objects. They don't have multiple levels. Calendar. We got manual event. Mom's birthday. That's good. Clear that out. Let's go to next month. Mom's birthday. You saw that delay there for about a second. That's while it was loading the new ones. And now we have our other event. So as they say, boom shakalaka laka. So that worked, and that worked fine. All right. So having done that, now for the demo, I am actually in the future going to want to demonstrate how people can add their own events to the calendar. Although I'm not actually going to let them store it in the database because that'll cost me money, and I still have to run things pretty lean right now. So in order to support the local event entry, what we're going to do is, you see here, we're pulling the events from the property, but we're going to want to store those in the state. Well, now that I think about that, I'm not so sure. Because if I do it in the state and the user navigates between pages, then it'll just, or if I do it in the view state and the user navigates between pages, they'll go away. Whereas if I store it in the application state, they'll stay there. And we'll just do it locally because this is all just demo stuff. So what we're going to want now is, oh, I left that in there. So as you can see here in the state for the view, we have events. And you know what else we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and just reorder some of these functions. So debounce AWS, I want at the last. I'll go ahead and add a comment. Just cause. Oop. And actually debounce is last. I don't think I use handle change or handle change app, do I? I could probably get rid of those. So this is a debounced AWS call. Key. Data. We're getting close to the 30-minute mark. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that state change in time handle. Functional handling view state. Calendar navigation. Parameters calendar date. Do we use handle change app? 3 places. No, we can get rid of this. Do we use handle change? 5. Oh, this is 4. Where's the last one? Here. Alright, so we don't need that. I'm copying that because... Oh, really? Do I actually use this? No, I don't use this. Alright, so we don't need this. And we don't need transition. And nor do we need this. Let's double check to make sure that that works before we dive into anything else. We can close that. Although maybe I should have left it open just in case something doesn't work. Alright, calendar. We've got our 2 events. Next, we got a delay, manual event. Back. Our 2 events again. It's a second delay. I could probably drop it down to half a second, but that's fine. And I could probably do a little loading icon too. You know, that's what I would consider polish. And this is all just a demo, so whatever. But we are just about a 30-minute mark, so I'm going to wrap it up for now. Tomorrow we should be able to store these things in the view state and use that as opposed to the application state, and hopefully also deal with the initial load. Right now I'm hard-coded to load from November, and I probably should get that fixed before it's December. So, like I said, I'll wrap it up for now. Cool good words about liking and subscribing, commenting, and suggesting. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of this Wednesday afternoon / evening, whenever you watch. And I hope you join me tomorrow, and that until the next time you do join me, that you take care and God bless.